Hello. With at least 8 people known to have died since Monday alone and thousands continuing to shelter in evacuation centres, the terrifying scale of Australia's bushfire disaster is beginning to emerge. A mass exodus from southern New South Wales is underway, with long lines of cars clogging highways leading right back to Sydney and Canberra. Fire officials have told holidaymakers to urgently leave a long stretch of coastline before more ferocious fires are expected to sweep in over the weekend. Not everyone wants to go.
Seeing just all the locals, I can see they're all nervous and anxious, and everyone's just on edge.
Looking at the queues here, it would be a long trip. We actually think we'd be better off staying here. Our motorhome's parked by the water. If anything does happen, we can just go down to the water.
Well, the fire itself is colossal. Flames have been reported to have reached 70 metres high. But these pictures from Monday show huge blazes in the state of Victoria. The plume of smoke generated by the inferno covers 5.5 million square kilometres. That's the size of Europe. That thick black cloud is now drifting towards New Zealand and its pristine snowy mountains and glaciers. Let's take you live to Phil Mercer, who joins us now live from Sydney. And we're not even at the peak of the bushfire season, Phil.
Well, what makes this crisis unprecedented is that this fire season has started much earlier than normal, and these fires are more widespread than normal, and they are burning with an intensity that few Australians have ever seen. So this is really the challenge facing Australia's authorities, the federal government, state governments, and also the fire services in many Australian states. How do they cope with infernos on this scale? And what's happened in southern New South Wales, or what happened on New Year's Eve, really came at the worst possible time. This is a very popular tourist destination. Many families, residents, retirees and other people would have been down on the coastline enjoying Christmas and New Year's festivities, and that's why the evacuation is so chaotic and complicated. There are so many people in the fire zone. Some don't want to leave, others are trying to leave but can't because of various road closures. Adding to this sense of unease and unpredictability is the fact that there are shortages of food, fuel and water, and also internet and phone services have gone down. So that's adding to this great sense of unease as thousands of people continue to pour out of that region.
And elsewhere, Phil, extraordinary stories of personal survival.
We're hearing it left, right and centre, and I think when you add up all the emotions that have been swirling around in this crisis, there has been trauma, there has been grief, anxiety, fear, unpredictability, and also great resilience and strength, and also a great deal of good fortune as well. We've seen firefighters taking footage from inside their fire engines as they go through literally a massive firestorm, having to put up protective blankets to protect themselves, blankets to the windows. Also homeowners who have heroically battled those flames. Others have literally had to drive their cars into the water of lakes, and other people have gone into the water at the beach to escape the flames. So these extraordinary stories, there are many of them, and the expectation is sadly that we'll be hearing many more of them because this crisis shows no sign of ending.
OK, Phil in Sydney with the latest. Thank you very much indeed. Well, as we've been hearing, smoke from the bushfires in Australia has blown to New Zealand, blanketing some of the country's retreating glaciers. Some of these pictures I think we can just show you now from Twitter show the ash-covered snow on one of the country's biggest tourist attractions, the Franz Josef Glacier. Some climate change scientists fear that the ash, which drifted 1,900 kilometres across the Tasman Sea, could absorb more heat and melt snow more quickly this summer. New Zealand's glaciers are already shrinking, with scientists predicting they could disappear completely by the end of the century. People elsewhere in the country have also woken up to a hazy sunrise, smoke smothering towns nationwide.